The problem council has, and we have as council workers, is we're a product of the Act. So we can only do things if the Act says that we can. Now, there mightn't be any common sense to that, but that's the problem that we have.
Can you believe that? Straight from the horse's mouth, a member of council staff confessing that the problem we have as council workers is that we are a product of the Act, so we can only do things if the Act says we can. There mightn't be any common sense to that, but that's the problem we have. And then we, the public, have to put up with this. Them not doing what they commit to, not doing what would make sense, saying one thing, doing another, making fluff promises to the public and inventing their own achievements. And in the end, they will quietly admit that they are not allowed to work within the realm of common sense. I mentioned in a previous video that the staff are involved in the creation of these nonsense documents like the Staff Code of Conduct, where they make all sorts of bold statements about integrity and doing the right thing. And as I said before, this is all just fluff. You'd imagine that a dedicated employee who signs up to and is very proud of their code of conduct would speak up internally if they came to the conclusion that they couldn't perform their job properly due to bureaucratic red tape.
Won't you do something about these terrorists?
It's my lunch hour. Besides, it's not my department.
So as I've discussed in other videos, I, plus other people, are involved in a number of battles with this council. Some over the fraudulent new bin tax that they've introduced. And then I've got my own personal issues with them, mostly around me trying to pay my rates, along with a couple more issues I've got. The good news is that finally, when I went to the Victorian Ombudsman, the council then agreed to dropping the $5.33 penalty rate and that I could pay the backlog in instalments. This backlog, I might add, would never have been a backlog if they had listened to me when I was trying to pay and they were roadblocking me. So I thought we might be at the end of it. I couldn't be more wrong. This is the public service we are dealing with, and they're going to find any way to escape their duties.
Tuttle should have had £31.06 debited against his account, not Buttle.
God, a mistake.
Well, at least it's not ours.
Isn't it? Whose is it?
Information retrieval.
Oh, good.
The incompetence at this council is showing no signs of slowing down. Councillors have gotten involved. A staff member finally called me. They still conveniently do not address the main issue, but offer me advice on all sorts of stuff I'm not asking for. And even after I have done what was asked of me by the Ombudsman's office, the council have still managed to screw up. There was one really funny bit in the Ombudsman's outcome email to me, and this tells you everything about what you are dealing with when trying to have a conversation with these people. Keep in mind that my original issue with them was that I'd been trying to pay my rates since 2019, and that they had been roadblocking it. This was one of the core points stated in my letter to them. So ponder this line from the Ombudsman officer's email to me. The council have advised me that you have not made a payment on your rate since 2019 to date. No, I advised you of that. This was a huge part of the entire complaint. I've been trying to pay and they have roadblocked me. Can any of these people do their job? These people are paid, and paid well, I might add, with amazing benefits, using your taxes. You know what I think they did? The Ombudsman officer probably contacted his counterpart at the council, and they started off reviewing it all with them, but their bubble heads could only hold a few of my dot points in their heads at any one time. So by the time they got to the end of the conversation, they'd forgotten the start of the conversation. And then the council probably said, this guy's a pain in the arse. We'll drop the $5 charge. But don't you realise he hasn't paid his rate since 2019? And then the Ombudsman guy was probably like, for real? That's pretty bad. I'm going to put that in the email back to him. There were some half-hearted attempts from the council after I made my other videos and before I got that outcome email. Councillor Stephen Jolly started to follow me on Twitter. This councillor has his own battles that he's fighting with the council, and I guess he wanted to keep an eye on what I was battling them with. Herschel Landis did reach out to me, I really did appreciate the chat with him, but he did the usual council trick of just ignoring my very clear dot points which explained what I was and was not asking for, and he kept giving me answers to questions I wasn't asking, very conveniently ignoring the simple request I had made. He did say he would get a manager to look into the whole thing. I got a call from a member of staff, but it soon became apparent that the guy who called me had simply been asked to call me again to go over something which I'd already given up on, that being the absolute shambles with the incorrect building number, which I had established before was down to a miscommunication between the building developer, the property developer, and the council many years before I even bought the place. This guy I spoke to, who I felt sorry for, had no idea about my actual letter. He hadn't seen it, and he admitted to me that he hadn't seen any of the dot points which explained what I was and was not looking for. And that's when he admitted that they are unable to operate within the realm of common sense.
The problem council has, and we have as council workers, is we're a product of the Act. So we can only do things if the Act says that we can. Now, there mightn't be any common sense to that, but that's the problem that we have.
I did get some good information from another Twitter user who is a resident under Yarra Council. Remember back when I visited the council in person to ask about a visitor car permit, and the member of staff who spoke to me could only repeat like an automaton that I wasn't eligible. Not eligible. You are not eligible. Not eligible. You are not eligible. Not eligible. Well, it turns out they were correct. I'm not actually eligible for that visitor car permit. But I only got the reasons for that from a resident on Twitter who explained it to me properly. I mean, I may not like the answer, but at least I now know why. Couldn't the council have done that instead of barking not eligible at me repeatedly? Also, their policy for visitor parking permits, it's not fair and equitable. I can accept it now that it's been explained to me by a member of the public, but they've got no right to make any more claims about being 100% fair and equitable, because that is not what their policy is based on. So I did what the Ombudsman officer asked me to do. After he explained to me in the email that there had been a delay due to a staffing change at the council side, yet more fuck-ups there I guess, he asked that I contact the council to arrange payments on the new plan now that the fee had been dropped. I emailed the council to confirm that I accept the dropping of the fee and would pay according to that payment plan, and I also asked them just to give me a breakdown of the plan from their end and to confirm that they had dropped the fee. This was the 12th of June. Within a couple of hours I had received 2 automatic emails back from them, one of these emails pointing out that our office is currently receiving a high number of complaints. Haha, no fucking shit. We apologise for any delay in responding to you and thank you for your understanding. I've heard nothing since. That was 2 months ago. 2 months. And remember that if they ever reply to your email saying that they need more information from you, that they have a disclaimer which they throw on which states, if you do not get back to them within 3 working days, they will consider the matter closed, and they can't respond to me within 2 months. A few weeks ago I got an email from a company who are doing a survey on behalf of the council. I wonder how much more money they're wasting on this. I guess the cost doesn't probably matter because they can always just invent another charge for the citizens, eh? But I'm told in this email that I'm to complete this 15-minute survey within 10 business days. I told them I'm not giving them 15 minutes of my time, given that the council can't respond to me after a 2-month wait. They can get fucked with their survey. And just a couple of days ago, the estate agent contacted me with the new bill the council had sent to them. So, do you think they've put it on the new plan as we discussed? Of course not. Keep in mind, 27th of February, attachment 16 of my original letter, they confirmed they would allow me to pay in $550 a month instalments, paying that backlog off. And it was also confirmed by the Ombudsman that they would still stick to that payment plan. And also, do you think they've confirmed that they've removed the fee? Of course they've not. Have a look at this graph that was shared with me, which shows the number of employees there increases over the years, completely out of line with the population increase. What the hell are all these staff doing? Well, they're not fixing the big problems, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what they're doing. They're workshopping code of conduct documents that none of them follow. They're deciding on the next woke flag to be raised over the town hall. They're hosting endless LGBTQI parties, cancelling Australia Day celebrations, repeating buzzwords like fair and equitable, and they're making sure that every piece of correspondence they send out has a cheap and empty statement about Wurundjeri country. If you would like a better understanding of what is actually going on here, then Google competency crisis. This is going to get much worse across society, and you'll find more people starting to write about this now. Systems and processes have been made so complex that fixing them now is very difficult. Rather than address these issues, the majority of staff will take the easy way out of ignoring the problem, and often this is because they aren't capable of fixing it anyway. Societal pressures creates a need for everyone to think that they do a very important job and everyone's got some wanky job title. And then in lieu of any actual ability to perform a valuable role, these useless employees will invent pointless yet achievable tasks, hence all the bullshit stuff they proudly announce that they achieve each year. Another example are the councils that are going through pointless yet expensive renaming exercises right now. What options do I have left now? Should I go to the Minister for Local Government? Will they be any different? I highly doubt it, because I tried to give them a copy of my original letter. A few days before I sent it, I went to her website to get her address. I sent the letter. Then about 4 weeks later, I had it returned in the post, marked as left address. So going back to her website now shows that she has a new address. You'd think that they would have kept the PO box active or arranged a redirect for a period of time after updating their address on the website. But I guess that's just too much to ask for from our taxpayer-funded public servants. I think I'm going to have to go to Melbourne in the next month or so and get this sorted out in person. Every level of government is useless. No one at council has yet shown that they can take ownership of an issue and fix it, not even when the councillor steps in. The Ombudsman can't get them to fix it. The Minister for Local Government didn't even get her copy of the letter because she can't keep her address right. Perhaps me, a one-time leftist and now labelled far right-wing extremist, can team up with lifelong socialist Stephen Jolly. We can join forces and overthrow this fraudulent bunch of bureaucrats and bring some relief to the people of the city of Yarra.
I want to report a wrongful arrest.
You want information adjustments, different department.
I've been to information adjustments. They sent me here. They said you have a form I need to fill out.
Have you got an arrest receipt?
Yeah.
Is it stamped?
Stamped?
No, there's no stamp on it, you see. I can't let you have the form until this is stamped.
Where do I get it stamped?
Information adjustments.